Shalom, shalom. Happy Sabbath prep day. Everybody's preparing for Sabbath day that, celebrates the Sabbath on Saturday. But today I'm going to do a video and it can have multiple titles for this video, man. I wouldn't even know what to title this video just yet. It could be Let Brotherly Love Continue, Be Tender and Delicate. It could be, How to build one another up. It could be various things, It could be unification, or how to unify, or we must be unified. It could be a lot of things, but nonetheless, I want to first and foremost, give all honor and praise and glory to the Most High by the way of his Son. This is just going to be an exhortation video for the nation, and I hope somebody's edified. All right, so first off, let's start with 1 Corinthians 15 and 16. 1 Corinthians chapter 15. 1 Corinthians chapter 15 and 16. And it reads, this is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 15 and verse 16. It reads, Salakia. 1 Corinthians 15. Oh, I think this might be... Let me see. Shalom, shalom to everybody coming through on the live feed. I thought it was 15 and 16, but I don't think it is. Let me see. 2 Corinthians. Nope. 1 Corinthians 16. So my bad. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 16 and 15. 1 Corinthians chapter 16 and 15, it says, I beseech you, brethren, ye know that the house of Stephanus, that it is the first fruits of Achaia, and that they have addicted themselves to the ministry of the saints. So pretty much saying, hey, look, the house of Stephanus, this core group of people was the foundation of this church in the location of Achaia. And he's saying the reason why they was able to do that is because they addicted themselves to the ministry of the saints, meaning every single day, every single breath, every single conversation they had was towards the truth, was towards the gospel, was towards the scriptures. They prayed constantly. Every single day, they didn't take a day off. They were addicted. When they didn't do it, they felt a strong conviction or an itch to do it. That's true addiction. And they was addicted to the ministry. Verse 16, that ye submit yourselves unto such, and to everyone that helpeth with us and laboreth. Right? Verse 17, I am glad of the coming of Stephanus and Fortunatus and Achaicus, for that which was lacking on your part they have supplied. Right? So sometimes in the church, you're going to have a leadership, or you're going to have a council of people, a council of men to step up and to supply on the lack of somebody else. There might be a lack of something that's needed in a church, right? Or in a gathering of people. On the topic, I'll say the topic is unification. Shalom, shalom to everybody, right? So sometimes you're going to need somebody to step up. So I'm going to read that one more time. It says, 1 Corinthians 16 and 17, I am glad of the coming of Stephanas and Fortunatus and Achaicus, for that which was lacking on your part they have supplied. Right? So Paul's going around to these churches and he's examining these churches, and he's saying without these three men, right, the house of Stephanas, he's saying what? If it wasn't for them addicting themselves to the ministry, that this church wouldn't be here pretty much. That's what he's saying. And he's saying because all the stuff that the individuals in the church lacked as a body, right? A church just means a gathering of people. All the stuff that the gathering of people in Corinth lacked, guess what? This church, these three men supplied it. So you're going to have in some cases, a group of men, leadership, council, eldership. You're going to have people in different congregations or whatever, you know what I'm saying, to step up sometimes and supply what other people are lacking. Nobody's on a prayer schedule. A brother is going to have to step up and put everybody on that prayer schedule and hold everybody accountable. Nobody's on a fast schedule. Guess what? A brother's going to have to come up with these fasts throughout the week so that brothers and sisters can depend on somebody to, you know what I'm saying, set the fast in order so everything that we might lack, another brother can supply, right? And so some brothers have to do extra in the truth, right? But to whom much is given, much is required. So keep reading. Verse 18, for they have refreshed my spirit and yours. Therefore acknowledge ye them that are such. So a lot of brothers want to understand or want to know how to stay on fire, or a lot of sisters want to know how to stay on fire. You got to be around brothers and sisters that's already on fire, right? The scriptures say a skillful man will hear a wise word and add unto it. So that means, guess what? You want to know why you don't have the energy to create videos of the truth. You know what I'm saying? You want to know why you don't have the energy to go out on the highways and byways. You're not being provoked to righteous jealousy. You know what I'm saying? To good works. You want to know why that your spirit, you just seem like you're not on fire, because you're not taking the time out to refresh your spirit with brothers and sisters in the truth, right? It says, for they have refreshed my spirit and yours. So not only did they refresh Paul's spirit, but they refreshed everybody that was around them. Therefore acknowledge ye them that are such. You got to acknowledge the brothers and sisters in the truth that's on fire, and that's how you're going to be on fire. You're going to watch the video and be like, dang, that reminds me of this precept and this precept. That's a spiritual gift that's been given to you to make you skillful so you can add unto it so you can stay on fire, and then you make a video. And next thing you know, you causing somebody else to be on fire, right? So this is how you stay on fire, man. You got to be around like-minded people, all right? So let's go to the next one, Romans 7 and 7. This is also how you stay on fire. If we go to Romans 7 and 7. Romans chapter 7 and 7. And it reads, what shall we say then? Is the law sin? God forbid. Nay, I had known sin but by the law. For I had not known lust except the law had said, thou shalt not covet. So what does that mean? Right? You got a brother, I watched a video and a brother said that, you know what I'm saying, instead of us hating getting cut, we should love being cut. You know what I'm saying? We should love to be cut. If you look at an oil lamp, right? As you look at that wick, it's constantly being cut down by that fire. And that's how it stays lit. You want to stay lit? Guess what? You got to constantly be cut in the truth. You know what I'm saying? And that's the difference in mindset. Everybody's confounded. Everybody's scared of being confounded. You know, some brothers don't do the work because they're scared of being confounded. They don't think they have what it takes. But guess what? You got to want to be cut, because like it just says here, how did we know sin but by the law? The law had to cut us. The law had to tell us that we was wrong, and that's how we grow from that. You know what I'm saying? That's how we walk perfectly, is when we're constantly being cut, right? Sirach 37 and 12, right? We gotta constantly be cut. Constantly, you know what I'm saying? And we gotta love being cut. Nowadays, a pride spirit, Salakia, buffered a little bit. But nowadays, you know what I'm saying, a prideful spirit came in and nobody wants to be cut no more. Nobody wants to learn no more. Nobody wants to progress their thinking. Nobody wants to step up and say, you know what, I was wrong. You know, we should take the approach like, dang, that brother just cut me. All right. We should be happy when we get cut, because guess what? We learn the truth. Nowadays, people shy away from things that they don't know. They don't talk about things they don't know because they're afraid to get cut. They don't do the work because they're afraid to get cut. They don't make videos because they're afraid to get cut. You can't be afraid to get cut, man. We all are on the same level, right? None of us is Christ. So guess what? We're all on the same level. So guess what? All of us can be cut. And we should be okay with that, right? Because it is. Luke chapter 10 and 34. Luke chapter 10 and verse 34. This is Luke chapter 10 and verse 34. And it reads, all right, I'm going to start at verse 33. I'm going to start at verse 33. But a certain Samaritan, as he journeyed, came where he was, and when he saw him, he had compassion on him, and went to him and bound up his wounds, pouring in oil and wine, and set him on his own beast, and brought him to an inn, and took care of him. Right? So let's break this down. What just really happened on a spiritual level? What happened, right? It says, and went to him and bound up his wounds. What does that mean? He was cut. He was cut, so he had to bound up the wounds. The only way you can bound up wounds, the only way you can bound up faults, the only way you can bound up sin in your life is to get cut, to get confounded, to be wrong. And then guess what? You can be healed. Somebody can bound your wounds up, just like the brother's doing here, and bound his wounds, pouring in oil and wine. What is our oil? What is our wine? Right? This knowledge and understanding, which is the law, statutes, and commandments, right? So guess what? Once you identify where your cut is, you can bound up that wound and you can start to pour in the truth. You don't have to be wrong no more, right? A lot of times, I forgot what the saying is in the world, but you know what I'm saying? Once you're wrong once, you know what I'm saying? You shouldn't be wrong again, right? Once you understand that something was wrong and you get the truth, yeah, look, guess what? You won't be wrong again. And that's how you grow. So it says pouring in oil and wine, and set him on his beast. Set him on his own beast, right? Set him on his own beast. So guess what? He just multiplied that talent. He just multiplied all that oil and that wine. And now he got his own beast. He got his own congregation. He got his own following, right? He can share the truth himself now because he was able to get cut. A lot of us, we got to be able to be cut. You want to be a leader? You got to be able to be cut, right? You got to have some battle scars. When you look at a leader, if he don't got no battle scars, you know what I'm saying? You looking at him kind of funny. Like, have you even been to war? You don't have no scars. When you watch the movie 300, even Leonidas had that scar from his helmet. You know what I'm saying? So guess what? Everybody's going to get cut. Even your leader should be cut. He should be cut the most. So because your leader is teaching you the truth, right? And he's supposed to be somebody to go to in the time of need, your leader should have been cut in his life the most. You feel me? So guess what? Everybody's supposed to be cut so you can see where those wounds are that you're supposed to be healed. And you can now, guess what? Know the truth. So it says, set him on his own beast and brought him to an inn and took care of him, right? And, you know, brotherly love, we're supposed to take care of each other. We're supposed to want to get cut, and we're supposed to cut people. You know what I'm saying? But stuff that I get cut with, once I'm healed from that, guess what? I cut the next brother with that because I was cut with it. So I want to make sure that, you know, for example, in the times of old, right, a warrior, they would spar with each other. You know what I'm saying? And say I'm sparring with a brother and a brother used a tactic on me and I left the side of me open and he cuts me. And I'm like, dang, I eventually heal, but I learned from that. So guess what? I'm going to make sure everybody else in my military, all my other fellow soldiers, they're not weak in that same point too. So because I fell to that, I'm going to try it on somebody else. And if they fall, guess what? I cut them and they learn from it. That's how we should be with this truth, because this is a sword, right? This is a sword. So guess what? We should use this sword as a sword, just like we're sparring to go to war. You know what I'm saying? I might be using the sword with a brother and he might cut me. And I'm like, dang, I didn't know I was weak in that area. I didn't know I was wrong there. But guess what? I'm gonna be stronger because I'm not gonna be lacking there no more. But I'm gonna try another brother so that he's not the same way. And that's how we keep growing, right? So that leads me to Hebrews 13. Hebrews 13. Right? This is the book of Hebrews chapter 13 and verse Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 1. Let brotherly love continue, right? So that's what we're talking about today too. Let brotherly love continue, bro. We don't have no brotherly love no more. We have no brotherly love in the nation, outside the nation. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so I'm gonna keep going. Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some entertain angels unaware. Now, you could take this scripture a lot of ways. You know what I'm saying? It says the Bible, these scriptures, these dark sayings, these mysteries, it says that they are manifold. It says there's double to that which it is, meaning there's multiple meanings to just one phrase. You can't just single it out and say it only means this. All right. Keeping it in context. But there's multiple meanings of this, right? Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unaware. So this could mean what it says, you know. You could look at this and say, you know, hey, look, just because a brother look like a stranger, just because a sister look like a stranger, hey, that might be an angel. That might be a messenger of God. That might be a child of Israel. You know what I'm saying? So you could take it face value like that, or you could take it like this. Just because a stranger of another nation or a stranger to the covenant comes up to you, right, in their sin, and they want to know questions, you don't have to mock or scoff them all the time. Because guess what? Even if they're not your brother or your sister and they got questions, you could be teaching through them. Somebody else might be watching. Somebody else might be listening. Somebody else might observe your conversation or how you entertain that stranger, and you can affect that angel. It might not be the person you talking to that need the word. You know what I'm saying? So be not forgetful to entertain strangers, because guess what? They might be angels unaware that you're unaware of. Right. And that just goes to being peaceable with all men. All right. I know brothers and sisters don't want to hear that sometimes, but we got to be peaceable with all men, because we're all called to be teachers. Right. We've all been given that talent of spreading the gospel. And if you want to be a preacher of the gospel, you want to be a teacher, right, you got to be apt to teach and gentle towards all men. All right. So let's keep reading. Right. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28 and 54. Because that's kind of like the premise of this video. Deuteronomy 28 and 54. Deuteronomy 28 verse 54. Salakia. All right. And it reads, Deuteronomy 28 and 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, right, his eye shall be evil toward his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. And this is most definitely talking about our people. You know what I'm saying? So that the man that is tender and delicate among you. What is it? Salaki, let me read that right. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate. What does it mean to be tender and very delicate? All right, let's get into that. Tender and very delicate. Because we're not tender and delicate no more. Our eyes are evil toward each other. For example, I was walking. I live, I don't want to put my information out there, but I live in Atlanta, right? I actually live in Atlanta. I'm not claiming Atlanta, but I actually live in Atlanta right now. And I was walking our dog, you know what I'm saying? And we don't live too far away from a bad part of town, you know what I'm saying? But I'm walking my dog. Because, you know, we was led through the Red Sea, so ain't nothing finna hurt me. You know what I'm saying? In the valley of the darkness, you know, I got a shepherd. But anyway, I was walking, you know, and I'm passing a brother. The brother, this is a kind of bigger dude, kind of looked at me. And, you know, I'm not really scared of nobody. You know what I'm saying? I'm not an aggressor or anything, but I'm not scared of nobody either. You feel me? So I kind of looked at him, gave him a head nod, and he had this glassy look in his eyes, man. And I kind of instantly got chills. Bigger dude, you know what I'm saying? And and he got this glassy look in his eye. He didn't head nod me back. He just was looking at me in my eye. You know what I'm saying? And I could see just pure evil in his eye, man. And I instantly thought Deuteronomy 28:54. I is evil toward his brother. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what he was going through in his life or what he was going through today, but I could feel that evilness in his eye towards me. You know what I'm saying? I didn't do nothing wrong. He ain't know me. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm doing this video, for unification's sake and to let brotherly love continue. We got to let brotherly love continue. All right. But what does it look like to be tender and delicate in the Bible, right? Our culture, our people. Once upon a time, we were very tender and we was delicate. All right. So let's take a deeper look on how to be tender and delicate. All right. And being tender and delicate would be also, you know, cutting a brother, like we said before, teaching a brother where he's going off, and also accepting the fact that you were wrong. It says love your brother and what? Rebuke him, right? Strongly. So let's go to how to be tender and delicate. All right. We can go back to Luke chapter 10 and 34. That's a perfect example too. Even though I just read that, Luke 10 and 34, right? It says, I'll start at 33. But a certain Samaritan, as he journeyed, came where he was, and when he saw him, he had compassion on him. So he's finna show what compassion looks like, what brotherly love looks like, what being tender and delicate looks like, right? 34. And went to him and bound up his wounds. A lot of us, we don't even take the time out of our day to even see the wounds on our brothers and our sisters. We don't even see the wounds, so we can't even bound them up, right? But this brother, he went to him and he had compassion. He bound up his wounds, pouring in oil and wine. We got to be able to, you know, heal brothers and sisters physically and spiritually. We got to be able to give them a word at any time, right? We got to be apt to teach at any moment. You know what I'm saying? Be instant, in season, out of season, and be able to give the word when somebody need it, when somebody's depressed, right? Our people shouldn't have to pay thousands of dollars, hundreds of dollars for a therapist, right? When we have the ultimate therapist. They shouldn't have to pay all that money when they have brothers and sisters that's in the word too. You know what I'm saying? We should be able to counsel each other, and we should be able to pour in wine and oil to each other, right? And set him on his own beast, right? Our eye is so evil toward each other now that, man, when was the last time you offered somebody a ride, right? Some of us get brand new cars and we don't want nobody to be in them, right? The Most High is saying, man, I should have never gave that person a car. Some of us is getting houses and we don't even want nobody to be in our houses, right? The Most High is saying, why did I give them that house, right? Because as much as you did it not unto me, right? Meaning you didn't do it for your brothers and sisters. Guess what? You didn't do it to me. That's what God mean by that. You know what I'm saying? So you get that new house, you get that new car. Hey, set a brother up. You got the funds to help somebody when they can't pay their rent or pay their car note. First of all, you got to be open enough and be a brother or a sister enough, right, for them to even come to you. That's why I said we have to be able to see each other's wounds too, to be able to bound them up. If not, you know what I'm saying, we're just gonna walk around broken and hurt all the time. You know what I'm saying? So you got to bound up your brother's wounds, and you got to pour in oil and wine, and you got to set him on his own beast sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Don't have an evil eye towards your brother and sister and, you know, say, hey, God, man's goings of the Lord. So if they struggling right now, they just supposed to go through it. No, that's having faith without works. Like James 2 tell us. James 2 says what? An example of having faith with no works would say, you know what I'm saying, brother or sister, I'm going to pray for you. You know what I'm saying? When you already had the means to help their situation, you got to have faith and works, right? And brought him to an end and took care of him. So we got to be able to always be willing to give up a house, you know what I'm saying? And to give a house spiritually, because a lot of brothers and sisters need that as well. But moving on, right? How to be tender and delicate. That was one example of how to be tender and delicate, right? So let's go to another example of how to be tender and delicate. Let's go to 2 Corinthians 3 and 12. 2 Corinthians 3 and 12. 2 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 12. Seeing then that we have such hope, we use great plainness of speech. Salakia. Maybe that's not what I want. Hold up. 2 Corinthians. Let me go to 12:3. Let me see. 1 Corinthians. Let's go to 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians 3:12. Anyway, I'll skip that one. I can't find it. But, you know, how to be tender and delicate. Before times in ancient days, we greeted people with the holy kiss. We saluted one another, right? We don't even, that's how tender and delicate our men were back then. To greet somebody with a holy kiss, right? We're so far removed, man. If somebody were to greet you with a holy kiss today, man, you might punch them in the face. You know what I'm saying? That's how not tender and delicate we are anymore. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to also read this account too in John, right? This is John 13. John 13. What do I want? John 13:23. This is how we used to be like this at one point, right? John chapter 13 and verse 23. Now there was leaning on Christ's bosom one of his disciples whom Christ loved, right? So if you want to know who it is that Christ loved, it's John, all right? As you read through the book of John, you'll see that towards the end. But it says he was laying on his bosom. That means he was laying on this man's chest. Another grown man with a whole beard laying on another man with a beard's chest, looking up at him. That's how tender and delicate we were towards one another. We was able to be vulnerable with each other. You know what I'm saying? Without any ill mind, any ill thoughts, any evil thoughts. You know what I'm saying? At one point we were tender and delicate. You know what I'm saying? We used to salute everybody when we walked into a house. You know what I'm saying? In Philippians 4, chapter 2 and 21, right? Even in the book of Luke, Mary, when she came and saw Elizabeth, right? She saluted Elizabeth. A lot of brothers and sisters, we don't even say hey to each other no more, right? We might see somebody and be like, I don't know him, I don't know her, right? And even vice versa. Some brothers and sisters you might be out like at the store and somebody, an old man or somebody that you don't know might say, hey, how's it going? You doing all right? And you might be like, yeah, yourself. And you might walk and you might be like, I don't know that man. Why are you talking to me like I know him? Because we're not tender and delicate no more. You're supposed to do that to people you don't know. You're supposed to do that across the board, but we're not tender and delicate no more. And you know what I'm saying? Consequently, we see stuff like that as an anomaly or something that's out of the norm. You know what I'm saying? But we got to unify. All right. What do I want now? We can go to Ecclesiastes 4 and 9. We can go to Ecclesiastes chapter 4 and verse 9. Right? Because if we took this into consideration, we would be better as a nation. All right. Ecclesiastes chapter 4 and verse 9. Ecclesiastes 4 and 9, it says, 2 are better than 1 because they have good reward for their labor. For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow, but woe to him that is alone when he falleth, for he hath not another to help him up. So at the beginning of the video, when I said, man, you should want to be wrong, right? Don't be scared to be wrong, because once you learn that you're wrong, guess what? Now you can build up the next brother that's wrong, right? And you just were built up, all right? That's the whole point of having conversation with people, if you stay to yourself, guess what? You're never going to understand that you're wrong. You're going to keep believing in false things, right? So you got to be able to converse with people and actually get their understanding. That way, if you are wrong, you can man up, you can woman up and say, you know what? I was wrong. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole point of having 2 or 3, right? That's why 2 or 3 is better than 1, right? Because you can always constantly be tried. You could be tried and you can constantly learn the truth, right? That's the phrase that comes, tried and true. It's been tried. But if you haven't been tried, you know what I'm saying, then you're just going to constantly be wrong. But you're not going to know that you're wrong. You're going to be ignorant to the fact that you're wrong, man. And that's why it's better to have more than one. So as a nation of people, we got to come together. As a nation of people, right, we got to stop the division, right? They divided us when they said, okay, these people are these people, these people are these people, these people are these people, when knowing, you know, we're all the same people. You know what I'm saying? So guess what? We can't be divided no more. We have to be one, unified. All right. So check this out. This is Numbers chapter 2 and 17. Right. So this is how things were set up when we first got into the wilderness. Numbers 2 and 17. Numbers chapter 2 and verse 17. Then the tabernacle of the congregation shall set forward with the camp of the Levites in the midst of the camp, as they encamp. So shall they set forward, every man in his place by their standards. Right? What does this mean? It means after we was a camp, right? Kantawada, you know what I'm saying? Supporting Judah. But as a camp, you know what I'm saying? You know, we had camps in the wilderness that was set up. When we first came out of out of Egypt, right? There was camps that were set up in the wilderness, and each camp was each tribe had a camp. They had their own flag, right? And they had their own standard that the Bible said. So guess what? You're not going to agree with somebody fully all the time, but everybody, as long as you're trying to make it, as long as you're trying to be a part of the elect, as long as you're trying to make it to heaven, guess what? We can all use that to build with each other. Right? Brothers and sisters do beautiful breakdowns, beautiful lessons. But the only people that see it are the people in their camp, or the people in their congregation, or the people in their church. Imagine if a brother from this church or this camp or this congregation watched the breakdown from this brother. Now he could see where he was wrong, and he could be skillful and add to that man. Right? But we don't do that. We stay divided. We stayed to ourselves. We find pride in a group, in a camp, not knowing that we're all one camp in the first place. All right. We all make up one. So we got to be ready to, you know what I'm saying, be open-minded and love being cut. You got to love being cut. Right. Change your mindset. A lot of us, that pride kicks in, and we don't want to admit when we're wrong. Right. And because of that, we'll continue living in a lie because we don't want to be wrong, because we might have a following, because we might have taught some people this way, because we might have because it's convenient. But guess what? You got to be constantly tried in the fire, man. You got to constantly be tried in the fire, and you got to constantly be reproved by your brother. That's love. You know what I'm saying? So next time you get cut, think to yourself, change the way you think about it. Say, dang, thank God. Hey, that was a good cut. I ain't gonna lie. That was a good cut. I've been thinking about that wrong. That's not scripturally sound. You know, he was right. Be happy when you get cut instead of being sad and mad. People get mad when they get cut, right? Want to curse like Peter. You know what I'm saying? When Peter denied Christ, want to curse and swear. No, guess what? You were just cut. Guess what? Now you're better because of it. Now your wounds is being healed. Now you're being filled with that oil and that wine, right? That Luke chapter 10 was talking about. All right. So now I want to go here. Matthew 18 and verse 20. This is the book of Matthew chapter 18 and verse 20. And it reads, "For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there I am in the midst of them." So even though we was in a camp, we was in multiple camps in the wilderness, we were there in whose name? We wasn't there in the name of the hopeful elect. We wasn't there in the name of IUIC. We wasn't there in the name of Sakari. We wasn't there in the name of WFI. We wasn't in the name of camps. We was in the name of the Most High, and that's how we was able to navigate to that chosen land, right? That's how we was able to defeat all these enemies, because we wasn't in the name of ourselves. We wasn't in the name of our camp. We was in the name of the Most High. And that's when we was gathered together. Yeah, it might be 2 or 3. Yeah, it might be 4, 5, 6. Yes, it might be 12 camps, but everybody got their own standard. But guess what? We got to come together in the name of the Most High. And that's the only way we can operate and be unified together. That's the only way we can humble down and admit when we're wrong. That's the only way we can grow and be cut. Right? So with that, I'm going to say shalom. I hope everybody has a great Sabbath. If you're celebrating this Sabbath, when the sun go down. Yeah, shalom.